Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Dorm Next Door podcast. Happy Black Friday. For those of you who are listening, there are 75-inch TVs at Walmart going for sale for like $65 right now, or around that price. So be sure to check it out. It's been a great week. I hope everybody's enjoying their holidays. It is officially the holiday season when this is coming out. It is now... I don't know how many days we are out until Christmas, but it's less than a month, and I hope everybody's excited for that. It has been always and forever, seems like over the last 5 years, every day in America is exciting. Something happens. Not necessarily always something good, but something usually happens. And in light of recent events, the greatest Trump tweet of all time has come out. This is literally like Trump right when he started running, before everybody else came in and ruined what Trump originally was. Trump releasing in a tweet on X last night, that is Thursday, saying that he will now be banning migrants from moving to the United States from third world countries. This is a big deal. But personally, I think that a third world country really is any country that takes aid from the United States. This is a big problem over the last 100 years. We've taken in so many people that largely our country looks unrecognizable from how it used to look. It's very, very interesting. This all coming in light of the recent attack on the 2 National Guard soldiers in D.C. Both of those heroes had been sworn in, I think, less than 24 hours prior to this attack. And the perpetrator of this attack had moved to the United States from Afghanistan during the failed pullout under the Biden administration in August and September of 2021. So he made his way, along with thousands of other presumed terrorists, at this same period of time. And these people are still in our country. And in fact, we have a lot of people that are also sympathetic to that cause as well. We have so many people in our country today that hate our guts, that hate what you stand for, that hate America and what it stands for. So the real question is what is our goal? And we're starting to see Islam and anything relating to their cause, specifically Shia Islam, that operates under Sharia law. Their goal is that they would overthrow countries and implement Sharia law into their communities and move in and take over and eventually become the entire country. But these people are militant. Militant Islam is very real and is a very big threat to the United States. Now, we just saw this with one of the service women, one of the soldiers in the National Guard, losing her life over this attack. And I think Trump's response was valid. But I feel like the problem is this would have been Trump's plan all along. Now, in fact, we now have 19 countries that the United States has travel bans from and to. This would be something that Trump would originally want to do. And I worry so much that the people around him are having such a negative impact on this administration that it is largely unrecognizable from the Trump that we know and love and that got elected in 2016. And so it kind of takes events like this that remind Trump of who he actually works for and what his job is, and that's to protect the American people. And I'll tell you what, contrary to popular opinion, I know most of my audience is a part of the Republican Party. I don't know of any Democrats that listen to my show. However, I'll tell you this. In 2021, under the Allies Act, Congress voted to increase the number of migrants, the number of Afghan nationals that are moving to the United States by 11,000 people. This moved the figure from 8,000 to 19,000. This sped up the process. And only 16 Republicans voted against this, 2 of which being Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. You're probably being told right now that Marjorie Taylor Greene dropping out is a good thing because she stood against what we're trying to do as far as improving our country. She stood against Trump and MAGA. But really, let me tell you right now, she actually simply stood for you. She votes off of principle. She's not as easily swayed as I thought when she originally came into office. And that's saying something, because at first, when she first came into office, I simply thought she was going to do whatever the MAGA movement told her to do. But she stood firmly and was fighting for you because she knows the cost. Let me tell you, the cost of these people moving to our country is finally what we're seeing today. It's sleeper cells that could activate at any moment. And you can say whatever you want about these attacks being a distraction. I think that there's definitely truth to that. But it speaks to a bigger problem, and that is, as of 2021, maybe the vote would be different today, you only had 16 congressmen that cared about your safety. You had 16 congressmen that were willing to stand against reckless immigration. And I think that we need to pause immigration indefinitely, not necessarily permanently, because we have too many people in our country. I can remember the town that I grew up in and I still live in, and how over time it has become more and more unrecognizable. Now, the place that I call home is changing. And I kid you not, on many of the stores, you'll see Arabic letters, numerals, and the majority of people moving to these areas are from the Middle East. This is just true. Now, maybe they're more likely to have the money to move into the country, but it is a threat to Western civilization. That is, by the year 2040, Germany will be the first to fall. It will be a majority Muslim. It will be completely taken over. This isn't really a controversial thing that I'm saying today. It's actually, most people are on the same page when it comes to this issue. But it speaks to the broader issues of immigration as a whole. It has been floated, and there might be a bipartisan bill proposed in Congress, in the House, that would abolish the 85,000 H-1B visa cap, the annual H-1B visa cap, for specific countries like China and India. And I still believe that India is absolutely the third world, and China, when we have Chinese specialty workers, skilled workers move to our country, we are still at a massive national security risk for that, because they're more likely to spy on us than pretty much any other country. I said pretty much. There's other countries that obviously we know love to spy on the United States, and we still give them money. But still, China is a major national security threat, especially when they're trying to abolish the cap to allow more into our country. Let me tell you some interesting statistics about that. Now, we want to abolish the 85,000 cap, but as of right now, since there are 85,000 H-1B visas that get extended annually, and now there's a breakdown that I'm not going to do. However, a third of H-1B visa holders eventually get green cards, and the very, very vast majority of green card holders eventually transition into full citizenship in the United States. So these people aren't just coming to the United States, and let's just say this. They are working for less of a wage. So their labor, their cheap labor, is valuable to the American politicians. But they stay here. Do you think that it's moral, and this is really just the upfront reason, do you think that it is moral if we move thousands of people to our country just because the labor is cheap? It's not slavery, but as the United States, as the United States of America, that is immoral. We have millions of unemployed in our own countries. We have people who are on waiting lists for colleges that are being usurped. They are being passed by foreign exchange students to get into these universities, and we want to extend that even further to the Chinese. So we have all these people sitting on our country that are losing opportunities to people who are in many cases willing to pay more money, and they're willing to take a smaller wage for it. I don't think that sounds like putting our country first at all. And I don't think anybody would say that that's putting our country first. In fact, this is the detriment to our country if it simply becomes a place where people can come work, make money, and then move that money back to their family that's in their home country. We do have serious immigration problems. And I'm going to say this flat out. Our country needs to build sovereignty. This is one of the craziest things to say nowadays because you'll be called a racist or whatever. I firmly believe China should remain Chinese. India has every right to remain Indian. Europe should remain European. It's not. But the United States has every right not to import the third world because they become the third world and remain a majority white. How is it that you can have all these different countries and their ethnicity, their sovereignty is their own, they get to keep it? But the moment that I say that I want to keep the United States of America a majority white and build sovereignty because there is no American ethnicity, right? You don't do a 23andMe, and I know they folded, but you don't do a DNA test, and in your blood, in your DNA, it doesn't come out American. We need to be able to build our own American United States sovereignty. So what's the problem with wanting our country to remain a majority white? It has been that way for a long time, and it is actually steeply declining, as it has in the last 10, 20 years. What's the price you put on having your country be yours? Because I'll tell you what, the people in office are willing to sell out your country, everything you stand for. They're willing to sell out your home. Because we're seeing this. We're seeing foreign lobbies, foreign interests taking precedent over the American people's needs. Qatar just got a military base in Idaho. And I think that that's just the beginning of what could take place. I think it could get a lot worse. And I think over time, the goal of the people in power, even specifically the ones that you don't know, and specifically the one who buys, the specific country that buys all of our politicians, their goal, every step of the way, is to eradicate our national identity. It's one of the things that Israel does when they pour money into our politicians. They want to erase everything that makes America American. They hate everything that we stand for. And we don't know why. It's something that transcends just naturally how people behave. A hate for one's country, as many people across the world have for the United States, the animosity that they harbor towards us, that they hold deep in their hearts. Their hatred comes from a deeper place. I think that a lot of the hate for the United States of America is sheerly demonic. Because for the most part, we are a Christian nation, and we should unapologetically be so. I know Trump in one of his speeches said religion is coming back to the United States, but that could be mixed. That is a mixed thing. Truly, we should absolutely want religion, but we should only want one religion to be the crown of the United States of America, and that is Christianity. It is literally the nation, or it is literally the religion that built the country that affords all the rights that all the people that hate Christians flock to the United States for. All the privileges, all of the inclusion. We have the most inclusive country in the world. And all the things that make America great is what drives all the people who hate those ideas to the United States. We just can't stop winning. The United States of America is... Yeah, people hate us, right? But we are literally the best country in the world. It's evident. Nobody can do it like us. That's just the way it is. But still, we need to realize that the people that run our country are the ones that are driving it to the ground. They're the ones that let millions of people in, right? If the government, over all these years, had said nobody's moving to the United States, we wouldn't have this problem. So actually, yes, our problem is entirely our government. And it's crazy to say that the terrorist that killed the National Guard soldier this week, I'm gonna make an effort at pronouncing this guy's name. His name is Ramanullah Lakanwal. And I know I probably botched that, but he was literally once in a CIA-backed paramilitary group. And he easily made his way to the United States during the Afghan crisis. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, he's not the only one. There's thousands and thousands of these crazy people that will do things that you could never even imagine, just ready to activate in our country, and this is one of them. But still, even when these sleeper cells get activated, which were CIA-backed, they might still be CIA-backed. We don't know. Don't let yourself be distracted by the decisions that Congress seemingly always tries to make when the world and specifically our country are distracted by a psyop. Yeah, I know these people are doing evil things. These people shouldn't be in our country. But don't let them be an effective psyop when they do decide to wake up and cause harm to American citizens. I think what we need to do is we need to develop a pattern. And that is, every time something bad happens in the United States, we should immediately check what decisions are being made by the government around the same time. And I think that we would be able to see that a lot of things, a lot of votes happen and a lot of things get passed right under our noses without us even knowing about it. So that's just something to chew on in this shorter episode of the Dorm Next Door podcast. But I'm so thankful that you decided to tune in and listen to this. This is at a different location, but I honestly prefer it. But I'm so thankful that you decided to listen to this episode. You mean the world to me, even if I don't know you. I get so many great comments. I read them on YouTube and whatnot. So I just thank you all for listening to this podcast. Share it with a friend. Share it with 2 friends, 3 friends, or how many you want to share it with. But I thank you so much for listening to the Dorm Next Door podcast, and have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.